Welcome back to Just Those Corner on the Couples Thing Network. Today we're going to be talking about masculinity. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to society? And how has it changed over the years? So I'm going to start it off with the definition of masculinity. Masculinity, social expectations of being a man. The term masculinity refers to the roles, behaviors, and attributes that are considered appropriate for boys and men in a given society. Masculinity is constructed and defined socially, historically, and politically rather than being biologically driven. It is social expectations of being a man. So it is a social construct of your society that you're in that pretty much defines of what being a man is. And who creates those social expectations in a society? So that's mainly people, the leaders, whether it's kings from back in the day or the tribe leader or whoever politically is in charge at the time. So for instance, if I say I'm the king now, I'm the king of this village that holds 20,000 people, 10,000 are men, and I'm the one that's in charge of everything. I have the money, I have the control, and I tell people by punishing what I deemed is not masculine and honoring what I deem is masculine. So if I say that blue is now the masculine color, pink and red is now the feminine color. And if I see any men in the town square wearing pink or red, I'm deeming them as being feminine or being gay. And in my society, gay is bad, and anything that's tied in with femininity is bad if you are a man. Then everybody just follows me, and then they police everybody else around society because they're following the rules, and now they feel like a man, and the king told him he was a man, or lets him have this job, or whatever benefits that can be created in society. So now that is the new norm, and that is what masculinity is. That is what deemed the man is because of this one king, and that just goes on and on and on and on. But of course, time changes. So what deemed masculine can change too as we get smarter, as we're in a time like today. Masculinity is constructed and defined socially, historically, and politically rather than biologically. So therefore, it has nothing to do with what you're just genuinely born with. It just has to do with the society that you're brought into. What does masculinity mean to you? What masculinity means to me is just from a society that I'm from America. All my masculinity teachings and what I think it is to be a man comes from pretty much a white man, an old white man that deemed certain things masculine and certain things feminine, deems anything that is related to femininity is pretty much weak, or you're gay, and they deemed being gay as weak, and that's just loving somebody else that has nothing to do tied with the type of man that you are. That's just your sexual preference. So what I've learned, so what it is to be a male, I've got it from people that are around me. So mainly my father, my mother, that have influences, other men around me. Just what I see on TV, what the government drives, what was instilled in my parents that were also raised and born in America. And I was pretty much, it's more like guys wear blue, women wear pink. If you show your emotions or you cry as a child, they teach you you're not supposed to cry as a boy. What are you? Be a man up. Telling a little 8-year-old boy that's crying because he literally hurt himself to man up, and men aren't supposed to cry. And then that turns into us just suppressing our feelings that are tied into crying or hurting, and just turn it into just toughen it up and keep moving on. And then our other emotions are pretty much suppressed, and then we become emotionally imbalanced. If we just know how to be mad and we just know how to shove things down when something hurts, then we're just emotionally suppressing ourselves. That's was taught in society. Another one of those society norms of what it is to be a man. Man is just being the strongest person in the room, being the alpha male, being the leader of the pack, and all those stereotypical things that you see in movies. Like the leader of the pack, the alpha male, he gets all the ladies. He's the most popular. Teachers like him, parents like him, all that good stuff. And then you have to emulate being that type of man to get all those things. Oh, I like women, I like being popular, I like everybody speaking highly of me, and so then you're taught to be a certain way to get certain praise and certain love. And then when you strip that all away and you realize it's just all a social construct and all these things that you were taught was just taught to them and then taught to them from just a society, and it comes down to a old white Christian male that you don't even have those same beliefs in anymore, you kind of lose of what you thought it took to be a man. And that's pretty much what I'm dealing with like right now. Just like I always view myself as a man of like what I provide. How much money I brought to the table in like my relationship, my household, how I'm protecting my wife or any woman around me. But it's like, what are we really protecting them from? Other men. So if we just police all the men around us, it's easy to be a good man. But are you policing the men around you to not continue that old social construct that pretty much wound up harming women because we deemed anything that was feminine as bad because they taught us it was bad when we showed those traits, and then we literally didn't make it safe for women because we just view those traits as being bad. And then we also don't and then we're also supposed to protect them, but we're just protecting them from us. But if we just police ourselves and let people know, like, you should not force yourself onto women, you should not want to own or have women as like property just because a different society, maybe in the 50s and 60s, that nuclear family might have worked. Yeah, that might have worked when the guy was coming home and only had to make $50,000 and he could have a house in the suburbs, feed his kids, have a car, and then the wife is able to take care of those kids. Of course, that works. That works in that society, but also that worked because women didn't have rights to get it on their own. So they had to play that role. And that was just a whole society thing. So now as you grow older, times change, where we're in a day like today where one income is not really feeding the entire family. Pretty much need two incomes, so most women are working. My mom works, her mother works. Women are working to get their own. They're able to work. So that has changed within society of where we're on even playing fields of being the provider. So then men want to overcompensate sometimes, and you might want to hit your wife or cheat on your wife or treat her like shit because you feel like less of a man because you're not being the provider that you're supposed to be. But at the end of the day, that was just a social construct, and then socially stuff changed where they wanted more workforce, that you needed two incomes because things are more expensive. So socially, the definition of a man has to change as well in that social society, if that makes sense. So now your value as a man has to change. So it's not just being the provider. And say we teach every man in society, and in 20 years, women don't have to worry about being fearful to men or needing a protector. Then what? They're not going to need the protector or the provider, and that's what we were taught that was valuable to us, that made us valuable. So that's when you got to look within yourself and say, okay, so what is it really to be a man? And what does it mean to me? And what does it mean to me now if we're on an even playing field of we're both providing the same thing? Me and my wife, we make damn near exactly the same money. It wasn't always like that. It wasn't always that way. I made more than her at one time. She made more than me at one time. And now we're pretty much even. So we're bringing the same exact income into the house. So a lot of times when a man brings more income, then they want to take less responsibilities in the house if they are paying more of the bills. And I've learned since we are now even, before I was making more money, that there's certain things around the house that I didn't even have to worry about this whole time that I should be worrying about, because now we're making the same money and we're working the same hours. So just getting laundry detergent, getting dishwasher detergent, getting the filter changed in the fridge, just those little things that got to be checked on to run a house that we just put on a woman because we're so used to being just a provider, and then they take care of the rest. But if they're working as much as we are, making as much money as much as we are, why are we expecting them to do more than we are? And that goes with cooking. If I'm coming home, me and my wife, we split the cooking. She works usually 3 to 9, so most of the time, if I'm home, I'm making dinner. So she's not eating super late. Before, she was even working like 3 to 11. So I was definitely make dinner because I'm available to make dinner. I should not be expecting, because I worked at 9 to 5, to come home and food be there. It's just stupid. If she's working 3 to 9, like, she's supposed to make the food before she clocks in and just devote her time to me. No, that makes no sense. If I could come home at a decent time and be available to make dinner from 6:30 to 8 o'clock, so she's not eating super late, I'm gonna do that. And some people will deem that as simp. Oh, he's a simp. Like, are you serious, bro? What's a simp? Somebody that actually puts as much effort as their wife, or falls for a woman as hardly as they fall? We're both humans. We have the same emotion. Say eventually we get a whole new race of men that treat women sensationally, always protect them, deem them as equals, and we have a society where women are just feeling safe, so we don't have to protect them anymore. And some women are already out here protecting themselves and doing anything possible to keep themselves protected as single ladies. So a lot of people are like, oh, so the man, that's why the dating pool is what it is today, and nobody's falling in love, nobody's getting married, because a woman don't let a man be a man. What's the definition? If she's making as much money as you and she can protect herself, she don't need a man to just provide those things. Now you just have to give yourself and just be a good partner, a good person, a person that's just gonna elevate that woman's life, and that woman's gonna elevate your life. You got to put as much into her as she's putting into you, if we're both hustling at the same time. And a lot of people don't do their shadow work, don't do their homework with themselves to identify that they have to be a better person within, with their emotions, how they treat their wives, how they chip in the household, how they define their masculinity. I don't feel any softer. I don't feel like a bitch because I cook for my wife, I clean around the house. These are things we should be doing for themselves. So if you were single, you got to do all those things for yourselves, right? Just because you bring a woman to the table doesn't mean she's just supposed to do those things for you, because your mother used to do it. If you wanted your mother, you should have married your mother. Masculinity is what you make it. And I'm sick of these masculinity police. I'm about to be a 40-year-old Puerto Rican male from Nueva York, Queens. And that comes with a certain machismo, a certain way how we live. Oh, you dye your hair blonde, what are you, gay? Oh, you get a tongue ring, what are you, gay? Oh, you get a nose ring, what are you, gay? Whatever is different and new that might have been deemed either gay because gay people used to do it, or feminine because females used to do it. I'm sick of the masculinity police. All you policing is just a social norm that was created by some white man if you live in America. So you just being a white man's bitch at the end of the day. So you feel masculine about that? None of it matters. I'm 220. I can beat people up. That's great. That means I can defend myself if I need to. That doesn't make me better than anybody else. If I go into another room, there'd be somebody bigger than me that could beat me up. Am I less of a man then? No. Like I said, man, there's always a bigger dick in the room. If I feel like a less of a man because of that, no. Stop tying your self-worth into some masculinity shit that was created by somebody else, and just get inside you and figure out your own worth Figure out what you think it means to be a man, a respectful man, a man that is there for his woman, a man that's there for himself, and a man that's there for his family, and a man that just brings better into this world than he left it. Just focus on being that, and you'll be all right. Who cares what masculinity even means? Dye your hair, get a tattoo, do whatever you want. Nobody cares. And the person that cares, just be like, yo, you popo, you masculinity police, make them feel stupid. Because we're not trying to fit in your society. We're trying to fit in where we fit in a circle that we trust and we believe in and we feel comfortable. That's where I'm gonna leave it. Stop being masculinity police. Stop all that stuff, calling anything gay or this is feminine. Just cut it out. You're starting to look like weirdos, and nobody respects you. And the women that want that type, get that type. Hopefully you grow out of that type, and you get a real man that really is emotionally available, protects you, loves you the way you're supposed to be loved. Now, so I'm gonna leave it. It's Just Those Corner, and I'm out.